Shalom, Barakatha Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Kal Halalim, Wahawadla, Abenawa, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Ruchaha Kodash. Double honor to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders of the Great Millstone GMS who rule well, who teach well, and salutations to the elect. Abba Ratazar, Father willing. Okay, so Father willing, this lesson is edifying. So we're going to go into the book of the prophet Jeremiah, or in the Hebrew, Yeramiah, which means Yahweh exalts, or he exalts Yahweh. All right. We're going to go into chapter 47, short chapter, just 7 verses long. Okay. And this is the prophecy against Philistia. So these are prophecies of evils and judgments that the Most High will bring to the neighboring nations that he mentioned. All right. Some happened at that said time, and some would be spread over the course of history, and some still waiting or about to really take place currently in this time. Those mainly are Jeremiah chapter 50 and chapter 51, which deals with the destruction of Babylon, America, but not ancient Babylon. Okay. The subheading says, Prophecy against Philistia. The word of the Lord Yahweh that came to Jeremiah the prophet against the Philistines, before that Pharaoh smote Gaza. And it reads, Thus saith Ha'adawan Yahweh, Behold, waters rise up out of the north, and shall be an overflowing flood. Okay, this is not actually talking about physical water. It's describing the army of the Babylonians or the Chaldeans, likening them unto a flood that is coming. Okay, and shall overflow the land and all that is therein. Okay, the city and them that dwell therein. All right. So, taking over and annihilating everything in their path, conquering as they move onwards. All right. Then the men shall cry, and all the inhabitants of the land shall howl. Having your city being attacked and your people, being taken captive and slain. Obviously, it would warrant a reaction, but that is judgment that the Most High said he would bring to them. Okay. Verse 3, At the noise of the stamping of the hoofs of his strong horses, at the rushing of his chariots. So the sound of the horses running, yeah? The sound of the chariots and the wheels, all right? And that, hitting against the ground. It's like the ground is almost shaking with such a powerful army en route to your doorsteps. Okay? At the noise of the stamping of the hoofs of his strong horses, at the rushing of his chariots, and at the rumbling of his wheels. All right? The fathers shall not look back to their children for feebleness of hands. All right? Meaning they're going to be so frightened and try to run away that even their mothers and fathers are going to forsake their own children, for being so afraid, for being so frightened, not even looking back at their children. All right. Verse 4, Because of the day that cometh to spoil all the Philistines and to cut off from Tyrus and Zidon every helper that remaineth. Okay. Any allies that they had in Tyre and Zidon, they would not be able to assist them. They would all be taken over. Okay. All right. For the Lord Yahweh will spoil the Philistines, the remnant of the country of Caphtor. Okay. Let's go into the word Caphtor. All right. Caphtor Crown, the original home of the Philistines, perhaps on the southwest coast of Asia Minor, maybe in Egypt or close by, or more probably on the island of Crete. The island of Crete, homeland or staging area of the Philistines. Okay. All right. It's a region that's not in Israel. Okay. And the Philistines, which are Hamites, are not native to the land of Palestine or the land of Canaan. Rather, they migrated there, one could say. That's why they're dwelling on the coast. All right. There were migrants that arrived from the Aegean region in the eastern Mediterranean, approximately, around the 13th century BCE, right? The Aegean, is in the waters, small islands, close to Turkey and Athens, Greece. All right, so they came from the west, and from wherever, really. They came from the west and from wherever, particularly, and settled east over there in the coast of Israel. All right, that's why it calls them the remnant of Caphtor, that being a region that's not in the land of Israel. Okay, go to verse 5. All right, it says, baldness is come upon Gaza. Ashkelon is cut off with the remnant of their valley. Okay, it's personifying these areas where the Philistines dwell as like people. Okay, the baldness represents mourning, because that's what people did, when they were in distress, mourning. All right, that lets us know the condition that the Philistines would be in with this oncoming calamity that they will face head on. So that region of Ashkelon, plus those that were dwelling in the plains, all right, the valley is the low area, all right. Okay, valley is the low area, the plains. Okay, how long wilt thou cut thyself? All right, how long wilt thou cut thyself? Okay, meaning a sign of mourning, which was a practice they kept. All right, how long will they continue to mourn? Verse 6, O thou sword of the Lord, how long will it be ere thou be quiet? All right, so, referring to the sword, how long till you stop being active? All right, put up thyself into thy scabbard, rest and be still. Okay, scabbard, which is the sheath. All right, rest and be still. This is sort of like a cry, right? The sentiment of their cries, like, how long are we going to have this judgment come upon us? Put the sword away, just chill for a bit, stuff like that. This is the response. Okay. 7, how can it be quiet, seeing the Lord Yahweh hath given it a charge against Ashkelon? How can the judgment slow down or even stop, which is likened unto a sword? All right, the Lord authorized it all to come against Ashkelon, or the Philistines, all right, and against the seashore. Okay. There hath he appointed it. Okay. It's metaphorical, but it's also showing you that once the Lord has pronounced judgment, it doesn't just stop. All right. So yeah, and that's the end of Jeremiah chapter 47, going into the prophecy against the Philistines of the judgment that will come upon them. Yeah. Okay. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, quick. All right. In closing, Kal Halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Recha Kodash. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Those watching and listening and learning. All right. Muwath the Babal and Shalom to the elect.